Alright, so we are keeping on with our responsive design, responsive CSS. In our first video, we looked at how to write a media query that changes our CSS, adds new rules when certain conditions are met. And in this video, we're going to start looking at this grid and changing our layout, actually. So a really common issue you run into when you're doing responsive design is I've got a grid. It looks good when the page is big. It looks bad when the page is small. So we're going to take care of that by changing the flex properties that create this grid once we hit a certain size. And flex makes this incredibly easy to do. So the first thing we need to know is that there's a flex property called flex-wrap. And if we set it to wrap, once these boxes reach the end here, they will then bump down and create a new row rather than trying to start in one row. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that we go to a 2x2 layout instead of a 4x1 layout. So we do want them to wrap. So I'm just going to jump back into my CSS really quick, and I'm going to add my flex wrap property here. I'm going to add it up here just because I always want it set to wrap, so I don't want it to be conditional on the screen size. So now I've got my my flex boxes are my LIs inside my UL, so this targets them. And right now the flex basis for these boxes is set to 24%. Okay, so if I find them here, that's set to 24%. Which gives me 4 across, right, because it's a little less than 25. So if I change this to 49%, that gets me almost completely to where I want to be. So that, and then I have a little spacing here that I'll take care of with margin bottom, and I'll just be easy. We'll do this 40 pixels. Okay, so we basically changed one rule. We changed the flex basis of our flex boxes, and that took care of 90% of making this site responsive. Okay, so very, very simple. This doesn't have to be complicated. And I'm just going to recreate what I did really quick. 49% and margin bottom 40 pixels. Okay, so we're looking good here. This transformation is great. And we're still going to hit a point though where 2 across doesn't look right. And when we go to a fully mobile layout, generally we just want one column and our content takes up the whole column. So all we have to do is write one more media query. Okay, I can have multiple media queries, and this one is maybe going to be for when my content is up to 700 pixels. Okay, so all of these rules are going to apply, and I just need to make whatever changes I need to here. So if I set my flex basis to 100%, I'm going to go from a 2x2 layout to a 1x4 layout. And that is generally how we do responsive CSS for layout. We're just changing flex properties. And I could change any of the flex properties I want, but if we're just doing a column layout to a single column, flex basis will get you almost all the way